I started out this week by clearing out the van, long overdue. Alright, so to start off this week, I've got one of my regulars. She has a big nature strip and then her internal lawns. The nature strip is actually the main part of her job. And then after that, I have another regular. I go there every 4 weeks, a straightforward front yard, backyard. And then I have 1 hour with an NDIS client after that. And so sort of a half day. Thankfully, Woolies asked me if I could work tonight, so that fills out the day. I'll get started. This is my first customer's nature strip. I don't know what happened here, why the camera filmed sideways, but I guess you get half an idea of what it looks like. And then this is my second customer, just a basic backyard, and she's also got the nature strip out front. And then at my NDS client, she just wanted me to do some hand weeding. That's the concrete as kneeling pad that I've used since day one. We're going to see how long I can make it last. It's struggling. Alright, back home now. Those 3 jobs are done. It's only midday, so I'm going to go stare at a wall for a few hours and then go to Woolies. This is what I woke up to on Tuesday morning. Yet more rain. I haven't picked up the camera for about 48 hours. Been sick as a dog. My throat is absolutely killing me. It's Thursday morning now, if you're trying to keep up with the chronology of the week. Today, just a guy that was on a once every 6 week schedule called me. He's a real cheapskate. He's a fast payer, but he's a cheapskate. It's been about 4 months since his property got mowed, so I'm interested to see what it looks like. If it's too long, I'll do it for the regular price today, but I'll have to send him a message and say I've got to add, 20%, 50% if you leave it beyond the 6 weeks, because a couple of times I've been there and it's like a mini jungle. So we'll see how that goes down. He doesn't like paying what's actually fair, so we'll see how that goes. And then another one, it's a small day today, just a regular. She pushed it back a week because some tradies were there and they muddied up her front lawn or something and needs it to dry out, which is fair enough. She's one of the good ones. You find in this business, probably 60 to 70% of people are fair and good, but then you get a lot that sort of try to take advantage of any sort of, kindness or generosity. So, yeah, just thankfully it's only a small day today, because I can't wait for winter to be over. Like here in Ballarat, it's really cold and the winter like drags on and on. Like, where I grew up in Brisbane, it's it's the August the 20th today. It's still cold up there, but you can sense that winter's almost over, like it's coming to a close. Whereas down here, it's like probably another 2 or 3 months of like cool weather, which is kind of frustrating. But if I'm going to get sick, at least I'm getting it out of the way now before the spring rush, which usually starts around September 20, September 25. So this is probably like my 5th bout of feeling miserable with sickness this winter. So hopefully this is the last one. And here's the property that was left for 4 months. As you can see, left way too long. And this part here is actually a gravel pathway that surrounds the house. It's not even the lawn. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And this is the final product after I was eventually done. Alright, so finally finished there. took me bang on 2 hours. So usually that size property, if it was a regular maintenance mow, that would take about 50 minutes. So it's taken me over double the usual time to get it back in order. I didn't film the front yard, but there's the front yard. So I'm gonna have to message this guy, because I'm still just charging him the basic maintenance rate. I'm gonna have to messaging him saying, you know, if it goes beyond 6 weeks, it would have to be a 50% surcharge, and then beyond 12 weeks, it would have to be double, because this was 17 weeks between this one, and it's actually pretty ridiculous. So we'll see how that goes down. Probably not that great, but we'll give him a shot anyway. All right, it's Friday morning. That customer from yesterday, he agreed that we'll stick to every 6 weeks, so that's good. Credit where credit's due. He understood that, you know, I can't keep doing all that extra work for no extra money, so that's good. And today I'm out here at Cardigan Village, which is a little bit out of town. Got an NDIS client out here. I do 2 hours here every 3 weeks. Got one of the nicest properties that I work on. Like I've used her lawns for sort of promotional shots before. And then after that, back into town, another NDIS client for 2 hours. I go there 2 hours every fortnight. It's the one from my first vlog with the friendly border collie. And another thing I want to talk about, on Sunday I got a quote request. I'll overlay the photos of what she wanted done over this. So it's all weeds down both sides of the house, a little bit in the backyard and in the front yard, and just mowing the small amount of lawn that she had there. And for this, I quoted $260. Like, I estimated this would take around 3 hours. And so I sent that quote on Sunday night, and it's now Friday, and she hasn't got back to me, so obviously wasn't happy with the price or found someone cheaper. And see, the thing is, the old me, I would have quoted only $190 for this job, because I had sort of this mental barrier where I didn't like quoting over $200. I felt like, well, that's expensive, over $200. So I'd always, for anything where I felt like it should have been like $250 or something, I'd still just quote $190. But now that the reality of the numbers side of the business has become apparent, that I'm just not going to stress if customers ghost me like this. Like, you might think $260 for 3 hours work, that's crazy. But I'll also overlay an image of a recent payment for a similar amount. It's $240. I haven't got an exact $260 payment, to give you a breakdown of what I'm actually pocketing after everything. So as you can see, you got income tax, then you got superannuation, which is PERLA. If you're wondering what PERLA is, that's superannuation, or 401k if you're American. And then the business expenses, I just set aside 10% of revenue for business expenses. That might be a little bit low, but it's just at 10% for the moment. And you can see that $260, or in this case $240, actually becomes only around $150, $155 after you take out tax, superannuation expenses. So for 3 hours, you know, I make $42 an hour stacking shelves at Woolies in my second job. Like, why would I go to the rigmarole and expense of starting a business and the risk of starting a business if I'm going to make less than what I make at my second job stacking shelves at Woolworths? Like, so if I quoted 190, which the old me would have done, because I felt bad for quoting over 200, that would have only resulted in maybe, let me do the quick maths, maybe $110, $115 in my pocket, which is less than what I make at Woolworths, you know. It's approaching minimum wage. So this is the thing. And I don't get worked up anymore if customers ghost me or complain about the price, because most people, even though they're grown adults, they still don't seem to understand the difference between revenue and profit, which is baffling to me. I mean, it's not rocket science, but these people here, you know, I saw someone on a Facebook page the other day complaining because a cleaner quoted $150 for 2 hours. She said, I'll do it myself, you know, thinking like she was the expert. I'm like, well, how can you be, she looked maybe 50 years old. How can you be 50 years old
and still not understand that these businesses that are doing everything legally and professionally have to pay tax. They have to pay themselves super out of that $150. You know, they have to pay for expenses, ongoing overheads. Like, you know, the majority of people have never owned a business, so you just got to let that go if customers think that your price is too high, because it's either you give in to their complaints and then you're left working for minimum wage effectively, or less than minimum wage in a lot of cases, or you just sort of toughen up a little bit and accept the complaints or accept being ghosted, and that works out in the long run, because then you're actually working for a decent price and you actually enjoy the work more. And that's why a lot of businesses go into the ground, is because, you know, they think, oh, well, I was only making $35, $40 an hour in my old job. Now I'm making $50 an hour. Oh, that's great. But a lot of these people don't understand that it's $50 an hour before tax, before expenses, before superannuation. So once all is said and done, you're actually making less than what you were making at your old job. And in many cases, you're making less than the national minimum wage. Because, like, let's break it down, that $260 that becomes $155, you might still be thinking, oh, well, $155 for 3 hours, that's about $51, $52 an hour. That's still a solid hourly rate. But in this business, you don't have the full 8 hours of a workday that someone going to a regular job has. There's the thing called billable and non-billable hours. So non-billable hours, and this is like driving between jobs, taking your half-hour lunch break. You don't get paid for that when you own the business. You don't get paid for your breaks. And then driving between jobs. So if you're lucky, you might get 6.5 billable hours each day. So that $51 or $52 an hour, if you've done the maths in your head, 155 divided by 3, you actually have to multiply that again by about 0.75, 0.8 to get your true hourly rate. So even at my quote of $260, if the job did take me 3 hours to do all that weeding and the mowing, I'm still actually only making around what I get at Woolworths, maybe a little bit more. So let me know what you think. If you've had a problem with underquoting before, because that's probably my biggest downfall so far. I'm 15 months into the business. My biggest thing has definitely been not having the guts to quote properly. But finally, I'm sort of, fine-tuning that, and now that the reality of the numbers side of the business is really hitting me, I'm no longer concerned about quoting properly. And I've sort of finally overcome that mental barrier of not shaving off $50 or $80 just for the fear of conflict or the fear of being ghosted. So, yep, I'll get stuck into this first NDIS job. Alright, so finished for the week, back home, and I was thinking how to end the video. And I thought I'd just give a book recommendation. I'm halfway through Henry Ford's autobiography, My Life and Work. An awesome book. He has great insight, not just into business, but his principles for life. Obviously you hear every now and again about Henry Ford, but I'd never really investigated him before, and he really was a, I don't think genius is the right word, but he had an incredible work ethic and just some really great insights into work and life in general. All right, I'll see you next week.